Paulo Coelho, a famous Brazilian lyricist and novelist, once said that a child can teach an adult three things: to be happy for no reason, to always be curious, and to fight tirelessly for something. Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Nsisong Jonathan, and in this channel we talk about social vices that besets us and we proffer solution to these social challenges. We'll take a short break now, and when we're back we'll talk more. What is child sexual abuse itself? Child sexual abuse or child molestation is a form of child abuse in which an adult or an older adolescent uses a child for sexual stimulation. Some forms of it include sexual activity with a child, whether by asking or pressing or by other means. Indecent exposure, such as the genitals or the nipples. Child grooming. What is child grooming? Child grooming is a subtle approach sexual predators use in which they try to befriend a child with the ulterior motive of abusing the child much later or using the child for sexual trafficking. It also includes using a child to produce sex or child pornography. One researcher described child sexual abuse as the most discouraging discovery of our present era, and we cannot agree less with him because of the startling statistics we have of the rising in the number of sexually abused children. For instance, the Sese Foundation reports that 1 in 4 girls is abused in Nigeria. This means that 25% of females in Nigeria have been sexually abused, and out of this, only 5.8% actually know where to access help. The same report states that 1 in 10 boys have been sexually abused, which means that a startling 10% of the male population have been sexually abused. And out of this 10%, only 30% actually know where they can access help. Also, it is pertinent to note what some researchers have said have commented on child sexual abuse. Some researchers have said that the common perpetrators of child abuse are the parent figures, also other male relatives involved in this act. So those who actually abuse a child, or majority of the sexual abuse cases, are perpetrated by people who surround the child, people whom the child is very familiar with, whom the child actually trusts. So it raises a lot of concern, and this leaves indelible mark in the health and mental well-being of the child. While most of the victims are girls, boys are equally affected. Female perpetrators are not as rare as you think, but perhaps the most underreported cases of child abuse are sibling-to-sibling abuse, where a stronger sibling, maybe an adult or an older adolescent, pressures the younger sibling to get involved in sexual abuse. With these staggering reports, what are some tips that parents can apply to protect their children from sexual predators? Let's discuss a couple of them. The first one is communication. Communication is key. One of the most important antidote against child sexual abuse is communication. The breakdown in communication between parents and children has resulted in a lot of abused kids. It is important for parents to have a constant daily communication with their children. Find out what is happening in your children's life. Who are their close friends? Don't be too busy for them. If your child wants to come and talk to you, or Junior wants to come and talk to them, and go, I'm too busy. Please do not be too busy for your child. Remember that children are precious gifts from God, and it is your responsibility not just to provide for them physically, but also for their emotional well-being, their spiritual well-being, their psychological well-being. When parents open wide the door of communication, it is very easy for children to communicate the challenges they have, and it will also be easier for parents to spot where there is a lapses or there is a change, a significant change in the demeanor or attitude of their children. Most of sexual predators have blamed the excessive use of alcohol as a prerequisite to indulging in such acts. So we also recommend that alcohol, if it is to be taken, should be taken in moderation, because someone who is high on alcohol, his sense of judgment could be easily compromised, resulting in himself carrying out or perpetrating acts he would later regret. Parents or adults need privacy. Children also need privacy. So parents should be able to draw a line between children's privacy and their personal privacy. Let me share an experience with you of a lady who was molested by her own father many years ago. According to her, when their mom died, their dad went as far as removing all the curtains in their houses. So they had no privacy at all. The result, he ended up abusing herself and all her sister siblings. How pathetic that experience is. Teach your child to say no. When someone wants to touch a private part, your child should be able to say no. Some parents shy away from teaching their children about their private parts. They rather use some nicknames. So it is important for you to teach your children about sex. Sex education is important. Teach them about the private parts, the correct name. Help them to know that these are areas in their body. If someone attempts to touch it, or if someone wants to show them their private part, they should say no. Also, let your children know that it is okay for them to talk to you if they run into a problem. Your children should not be scared that you would ridicule them, you would discipline them, you would ostracize them if they run into a problem. No, let them be free. They should know that anytime they run into a problem, they can run to dad, they can run to mom, and that way it still boils down to what we talked earlier on communication. If the communication door is open, it will enable your children to confide in you. Another key point is teach your children not to keep quiet. Most sexual predators always threaten kids that if they dare mention it to anyone, they will die, or their parents will die as well. That fear of losing their lives or the lives of their loved ones, these kids never report abuses. So teach your children to always talk about any attempted abuse on them. In close, I'll leave you with the words of Christina Enevelson, adapted from the article The Rescued Soul, the writing journey for the healing of incest and family betrayal. The fear of abandonment forced me to comply as a child, but I'm not forced to comply anymore. The key people in my life did reject me for telling the truth about my abuse. I'm not alone, even if the consequences for telling the truth is rejection from everyone. I know that's not the same death threat that it was when I was a child. I'm a self-sufficient adult, and abandonment no longer means the end of my life. I believe you got some values today. Please note, these are not exhaustive points. If you have other tips you feel you can share, kindly slide into our comment section and drop it there. Also remember to like our page and follow us, and share this video to anyone you feel really needs this information. So in our next video, we will be talking about sex education. When is the right time for parents to teach their children about sex? And we will be bringing in an expert to discuss this topic with us. So hit the notification button and follow our page so you can keep abreast with these vital information we are sharing.